Hello,
Hello, I'm Charlon.
and I'm Jaiya, and together we are the Clarks. Today we are going to talk to you all about a really good topic for military couples, growth. We've been married for 8 years, but we've been together for
10.
10 years. We got it right, y'all. Today we're going to talk to you about growth. So, we met. So let's talk about where we met. You going to tell the story?
Yes. It all started. I was stationed in Jacksonville, Florida, and me and some buddies of mine were trying to get into this club. I forgot the name of the club. I just know it was pretty far from base, and I wasn't even going to go out that night. But after a nap, I said, you know what, I'll go. And the bouncer, what do you want to call it, he kept sending us back. Or you can't wear polo boots, or you can't wear these type of shoes. And then finally, we ended up wearing our dress uniform shoes just so we can get into this club. But by that time, I saw this fine thing just sitting outside, and I said, and how's the lady doing this evening? And then we kicked it off from there. So we technically didn't meet in the club, we met outside.
We met outside of the club. I was outside because I was not feeling my hair. We were in humid Florida, and my hair had already puffed up for the day, and I was just like, done with it. Get me out of this club. I'm gonna wait in the car. Y'all have fun, because my hair was done for the night. We got married on Veterans Day. It's a great day for married couples to get married. And today we're just going to talk to you about some of the toughest seasons that really made us grow in our marriage. And I would say the toughest experience that we've had, probably a very common experience for every military couple, is
Deployments.
deployment. The big D in deployment. During our marriage, we've experienced over 11 deployments, and we survived, y'all.
Barely.
Some of the ways that we grew closer, what would be some of the ways that you would say we grew closer?
Some of the ways would definitely be email. That's the only means of communication.
Yeah.
We do have internet, but that's not the strongest thing ever. And we just like to ask open-ended questions. There's a normal, hey, how's your day going? But we like to ask open-ended questions to keep the conversation going. Because we would love to open up our emails and see a good conversation piece, a good conversation starter. Instead of, hey, I did this today. It's like, oh, okay, where are we going from here?
Yeah, so, I mean, for example, we would say, like, what were can you give me 3 highlights for the day, of your day? Like, let me know 3 good things that happened, 3 things that made you happy, 3 highlights, or even if they didn't make you happy, if it was scary, something that really made your day exciting. Another thing that we would ask is, like, what are some things that were frustrations for the day? Because, everything is not happy-go-lucky. There's some really challenging experiences on deployment on both ends, on the wife's side as well as the husband's side. So we definitely talk about the frustrations, and then we want to always bring fun and laughter into the conversation. So we would talk about, like, what are some things that made you laugh? And in the emails, we made it mandatory to share memes. And
Absolutely.
to share memes, something that would make us laugh and just, like, really, like, remember that personality that is temporarily away from the house. Another way that we also grew closer is through phone calls. Believe it or not, he managed to get some phone calls, and that was really special. And before he talks about the phone calls, I'm going to say that it was a complete nightmare when I would miss the phone calls. I remember, like, the first 3 years of deployment, he would call from the ship, and I would literally, if I missed the call, I would close the door to my office and scream. I would scream to the top of my lungs because it was just, I never wanted to miss a phone call. But he usually ended up calling later on that day, and he always would email me and say, don't worry about it, I'm going to call you back in a few hours, don't worry. So
Yeah, I always say to sailors and whoever is watching this, it's not what you do, it's who you know. And whenever we're underway, there are certain phone lines that work. You just need the connection and how to dial out if they're fine with it. I didn't use it every single day, that's overdoing it. But if something were going on or something big happened in which they cut off the internet, I would call and let them know ahead of time, or hey, I'm just checking up on you. Hey, I wanted to hear your voice, hey, I want 5 slabs of ribs when I get home. I didn't ask for it. But
Ribs. And the last thing would be, if you have an opportunity, I don't know if every branch has this opportunity, but the great thing about being a Navy spouse is that we get the opportunity to do the port visits with the guys. I remember during my pregnancy, the CO's wife, the captain of the ship's wife, she gathered all of the spouses and did a survey and asked us who wanted to go to Australia. And we were like, sign me up. And it was a group of probably 10 spouses that hopped on a plane, flew to China first, and then flew to Australia to meet our guys. And I was pregnant during that time, so I was in my 7th month. And you know, he hadn't seen me pregnant, so I really wanted him to have that experience of seeing his wife pregnant, feeling my belly, feeling the baby kick. So that meant a lot to be able to go to the port visits. What about you?
yeah, it's great. It's always a breath of fresh air because, as you know, with port visits, you have to go out with your coworkers. You can't go out by yourself unless you're on American territory, which rarely happens if you're on deployment. At least in Japan, you can go to Guam. You can go out by yourself, but other ports, you have at least maybe 2 or 3 people, and hopefully you like them. But at least in this case in Australia, is with my spouse, and that's probably the best baby buddy one could have.
All right, so I hope you got to know a lot of things, and I hope this enriched you. Oh, one thing that we didn't say about the phone calls, when we ended our phone calls, we always prayed each other out for the next day because deployment is so hard, it's difficult, and it was really a blessing to have him pray for me and all of my challenges, and I hope those prayers that I prayed for you didn't fall flat.
About to find out.
So yeah, I would say incorporate prayer at the end of your phone calls if you are praying couples, because that matters and it really helps us get through those difficult times during deployment. I hope it blesses you and encourages you. Be blessed.